Welcome to Infused Eats, the Cannabis Infused cooking show. Today's recipe, pineapple upside down cake. This episode is brought to you by Safety Sessions. These are beyond organic, farm to filter CBD cigarettes. Learn more or purchase at safetysessions.us. Now here's what you need to make the upside down pineapple cake. You need two 20-ounce cans of pineapple rings. We're going to reserve the juice on that. A third cup of cannabis infused butter. A third cup of not infused butter, unsalted butter, half a cup of packed brown sugar, 13 maraschino cherries, a 15 1/4 ounce package of yellow cake mix, and 3 eggs. Okay, we're going to start out with a little bit of prep work. First, we're going to spray a nonstick spray on a 13x9 cake pan. We're going to go ahead and drain the pineapple rings, and I just like to pop the ring and then tilt them over into a pan. But we're going to reserve that juice. We're going to use the juice in our cake batter. And then we're also going to go ahead and combine and melt our two different types of butter. Because this recipe has a lot of butter, don't want to use all can of butter because it's too strong and not taste good. So I'm melting 2/3 a cup of good quality butter like Kerrygold or something like that, unsalted butter, and then I'm mixing that with a 1/3 cup of my can of butter, my infused butter. It's pretty strong, and we're going to end up with 1 cup of total butter for the recipe that will be divided. Okay, now we're going to take that melted mixture of can of butter and regular butter, and we're going to take half of it, half a cup, put them in the bottom of that baking pan that we've already sprayed. Then we're going to combine that with the brown sugar, half a cup of packed brown sugar, and then just use a rubber spatula or something and just mix it around inside of the pan until we get the butter, the brown sugar all combined, and then even it out. Then we're going to take our pineapple rings, and I'm going to do 12 in the bottom, 4 across, 3 up, and then take your remaining pineapple rings, cut them in half, and put them around the edges. Then take our half maraschino cherries, cut them in half, and then put them rounded side down into the pan so that the cut side is up. And this is making the surface of our cake, so it's upside down how it looks, but it's already looking really pretty. I had one pineapple piece left over. I used the 6 pieces there to fill in the little gaps in the top. Now we're going to move on to making the cake batter. Basically, you're going to make this according to the recipes, but you're going to switch out the oil from the recipe with our remaining half a cup of can of butter, and you're going to replace the water from the recipe with the pineapple juice. And this is going to give us a really sweet, rich pineapple flavor all the way through, and then mix it up with a hand mixer, or I just did it by hand. It took about 2 or 3 minutes whipping it up nice and smooth. And then we're going to take that batter and carefully pour it into the pan that has our pineapple and cherries. And then we're off to the oven. Now the oven temperature is 350 degrees. You want to have your oven preheated. I forgot to mention that earlier, but we're going to bake it at 350 degrees, 30 to 35 minutes. Now this is just a general guideline. Your oven temperature times may vary. One way to tell though, the cake will start to pull away from the sides and the top will be set and a little spongy. So let it get nice and well done. Okay, then we're going to let it cool off about 10 minutes before we proceed. And I use the knife just to pull it away from the edges. I really don't think it was necessary. There wasn't really any sticking, but just to make sure you can do that. Then I put it on a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and I flipped it over onto that parchment paper. And then the couple of taps on the bottom, and it just lifted right off. And you see, even after 10 minutes, it's still steaming hot, and that smell just, was so good. The citrus and the butter. And you can see all the little gummy pieces around the corners, and the cherry, all those sweet flavors all just kind of melding together into sort of like a syrupy coating around the outside of the cake. Just sort of encapsulates it. It's a really beautiful dessert. A lot of people make these around holiday seasons, but why wait? This is a great summertime dessert as well. And by mixing the butter with the can of butter, we're retaining a really nice buttery flavor. You can barely get a hint of the cannabis in there, but the cake is so spongy and moist and delicious. You're really going to like this recipe. I hope you try it out. You can find this recipe and all of our over 100 Cannabis Infused recipes at infusedeats.com. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. And always, this is Matt from RuffHouse Studios. Thanks for watching.